What if adding file uploads to your SaaS didn't have to be so complicated? Something that used to take days to do right can now be done with Supabase components and Claude Code in minutes. In this video, I'll show you how to add complete file upload functionality to your SaaS, plus I'll explain exactly how file uploads work on the back end so you understand why these modern components are so powerful. If your app needs file uploads and you want to skip the pain of setting all that up, this video is for you. All right, to implement the file upload feature, I'm going to use this built-in component called DropZone from the Supabase UI library. And if you haven't checked out all of these other UI components, make sure you do. They essentially make it easy for you to implement things that might be otherwise complex. And with just one command, you can install the entire file upload and integrate it with Supabase. Now, I already have a Next.js application running locally on my computer. I simply ran these 4 commands. I'll drop them in the description below. This is literally all you need to type in order to have your app launched like this. I'm going to open up my terminal here and open up that last command that you see, npm run dev. That's what actually launches the site. So we have that running. Then I'm going to jump to Supabase. I'm going to create a new project. I'm just going to call it file uploads. I'm currently on the paid plan, but you can go ahead and use a free account. I'm going to set the database password and we'll create the new project. And while that's starting up, I'm going to create another terminal. And I'm going to go into CD file uploads. And now I'm going to go ahead and add the MCP for Supabase just to help us build this out easily. I'm going to go ahead and grab this command, copy it into my terminal here. Then I'm going to jump up to account preferences where I can create an access token. I'll create the new token, file uploads. I'll have it expire in the next day, just so I don't have to delete it later. It's going to show the token up here. I'm going to copy that, jump over to the terminal. I'm going to change the -s to project. That just means it's going to install this just into this particular Claude Code project. And then I'm going to replace the key here. And now I just need the project ID. So for that, I'm going to go back to the dashboard, project settings, and here's the project ID here. Copy that, add that there, hit enter. We were able to add the MCP server. So now if I type Claude, it's letting me know that it found a new MCP, and we'll go ahead and give it approval to use this. Now if I type /MCP, we're going to see we have Supabase connected. So now from here, I can just simply come back to DropZone and I'm going to copy this command here. Then I'm going to go ahead and open up VS Code. And you don't have to use VS Code. I just want to be able to browse the files. I'm going to open up file uploads. Then I'm going to open up Claude Code, close this window here, make sure we have our MCP again. There we go. And now from here, I'm going to go ahead and use a tool called Whisperflow, which allows me to dictate directly into Claude Code so I don't have to type everything. I'm demonstrating the ability to add upload functionality to a Next.js app that is integrated with Supabase using the Supabase UI library, which I will link below. What I'm trying to do is implement that library and be able to upload files to the S3 bucket that will be on the same Supabase project. Keep in mind, you do have a Supabase MCP for documentation and any integrations that we're going to do if it will allow us to set anything up related to the file uploads that we're adding. Please come up with a plan, review the Supabase plugin, learn what you need to learn about it. Also provide me any instructions that I need to do in Supabase in order to set up the bucket if I need to do anything manually because the MCP won't do it. So just some basic instructions, and then I'm going to go ahead and paste in that link that I got from the DropZone library right here. I'm going to jump into plan mode by hitting Shift-Tab twice. So currently it's looking over the existing application, looking up some documentation on Supabase with the MCP. I'm going to go ahead and give it permission so that it doesn't need to ask again each time. And now it wants to look up the information on the UI component that we want to use. And now while this is running, I want to briefly explain how file uploads work and why this is important and why this is a cool feature. So typically, back in the old days, when you were running a SaaS application and you wanted to provide functionality so that users could upload files, whether it's a video file or whatever, to your SaaS application, what typically happened was you had a server, and when someone would connect with their browser, they would ask you for the web page, they would serve the web page. That web page would have some sort of file upload widget. And when you uploaded the file, it would actually upload it to the server. And then anytime you were on a page that used that file, it would show you that file existed. And then when you actually clicked it, it would go to the server. It would say, hey, I need this file. And then the server would serve it to you, which worked fine, except there's a big problem when you try to actually scale, because typically when you're deploying these Next.js apps, you don't have a full server. Typically in the modern world, when you're deploying a Next.js app, a lot of the time what will happen is you'll use a platform like Vercel, which will deploy your app. But when they deploy it, this server that they deploy doesn't have any space for files. And beyond that, when you start to scale and you have to have multiple servers in order to run your app, maybe you have 2 or 3 or however many servers you need in order to handle the scale you're at. In that situation, if you're uploading the files directly to each server, once you uploaded a file to the server, it would have to replicate that file to server 2, server 3, or server X, depending on how many servers you had. At any given time when a user comes to your server, you never know which one they're going to go to. They might go to 1, 2, or 3. And if the file isn't there, then when it tries to serve it to you, they're going to get an error. So this was a pretty common problem, and it actually was pretty difficult because anytime you backed up your server or you copied your server or you moved it, you had to manage this process of having these uploaded files on multiple servers. And so over time, platforms like Amazon AWS, they ended up creating this file storage platform called S3. And what this did was that it abstracted the idea that when you uploaded your files, they no longer existed on the same server where you were serving the web application itself. Instead, they would go to this redundant file storage system that would manage all of your files on a remote server, and they would take care of all of the complexities around moving this same file to multiple servers. So they're doing all of that in the background. All you get is a simple link, a URL, that works everywhere. And then what happened was that S3 was such a popular platform that other platforms basically copied the protocol, and now it's just a standard here. And it just so happens that Supabase also has an S3 storage engine. Now, even though you have this S3 storage engine, there's some complexities around how this works. And again, that's why this component that they've given you is so powerful, because even with S3, it took care of this issue we had over here where we had multiple servers, but then it introduced a new problem. So it's a pretty straightforward process to upload a file to the same server that is also providing you the website. In this case, when you introduce S3, there's a slight modification to how all of this works, and I just want to explain that quickly. Now, when you have a browser that requests the web page from something like Vercel, that's the platform I just showed you that manages the deployment of Next.js apps, when you request that website and it responds back with the website, there's a trusted relationship between this browser and the web server. But with S3 buckets, there actually is a different server altogether that is managing the files. And so when you upload to S3, you are no longer uploading to this server here. You are uploading to this S3 server, which is no longer the server that gave you the website that you're using. So because the browser and this S3 server have a separate connection, there's some complexities here around the technology to make this work seamlessly. Because you're not uploading it to the server and then uploading it to S3, your browser is directly connecting to S3, whether that's running on AWS, or Supabase, or something like DigitalOcean. If you're enjoying this video, make sure to like and subscribe. It tells me what type of content you want more of. So let's jump back and just see where we are with Claude Code. Let's take a look at the plan. So it's noticing it doesn't have any environment set up to set up the client. It's going to set up our dependencies, the environment variables, the client configuration. It looks like it's going to try to set up the storage buckets via the MCP, which is nice. That means I don't have to do it myself. It's going to implement that component, and then it's going to do some stuff with authentication. I want to make sure I understand what's happening here before I move forward. And then it's going to set up file management features, which I don't think we need right now. So what I'm noticing here, and this is why you always want to read your plan, is that I don't know that we really need to do 6 and 7 right now. We do have some manual steps here that it looks like we'll need to take. So the main thing I'm going to change in the plan is to make sure we don't need authentication for now. But I'll go ahead and let it create the file management features just so we can see that. It'd be cool to see. So I'm not going to accept the plan. Keep in mind, I don't have any authentication set up with this Next.js app and Supabase. So let's go ahead and implement this without any security. I'm aware that that's a security vulnerability, but this is just to demonstrate the upload capabilities. Also, can you just double check what features you have available to you in the MCP so that we know what you can do and what you need me to do so it's more concrete? So we're just refining the plan just a little bit. All right, so it looks like I need to do a few things manually. So we're going to go to Supabase. I'm going to go to storage. We're going to click on new bucket. We'll call it file upload test. We'll go ahead and just make it a public bucket. And I did notice here in the settings, there is a place to create access keys and policies. So for number 2 here, I'm not exactly sure how to do this. So I'm just going to paste this here. Can you help me with more specific instructions? All right, so it's telling me that it can create these via the MCP. If you can do things via the MCP, please go ahead and do so. Just make sure that you can. Have you looked at all the tools that you have available? I need you to understand how to do this, walk it through. Simply tell me what I need to do and let's get started. So every once in a while, you're going to get into this situation where you're asking it to do something. It's not as familiar with the platform as you might like. Why are you using Git project URL? That isn't going to show you what tools that you have available to you. So you're just going to get in this situation where it doesn't seem to be doing exactly what you want. And you need to be aware of that so that you can stop it and make sure that it's going down the right path. So every once in a while, you're going to see something. Like I said, hey, make sure you understand all of the different MCP tools that you have so you know what you can do or not. And instead, it was actually running specific tools, which is just kind of strange. So we'll go ahead and proceed. So when it's asking it for confirmation, I'm going to go ahead and just say yes. And I'm showing you guys the actual process of what it would be like to go through this without trying to edit everything out, just so you can see how to navigate these things on your own. So it's installing the various packages. Now it's going to create the local environment file here with all of the information we need. It's running the queries we need, make sure it's accessible by the public. All right, so it's ready to roll. It wants to run the dev site. So I'm going to go ahead and let it run here. But in order to do that, I do need to stop it from running locally in the terminal. Sometimes I like to run that manually in the terminal. Sometimes I'll let Claude Code do it. When you let Claude Code do it, the one good thing is that it's seeing all the output. And if there are errors, it's able to fix those. All right, so it says it's finished. So let's go ahead and see what we got. We've got our app here. Let's go ahead and refresh. All right, so it updated the homepage. Try file upload demo. All right, so now I should be able to upload a file. Got one of my YouTube thumbnails here. Let's just drag in a couple here. Upload files. Okay, bucket not found. All right, so we have an error. Looks like it didn't actually configure the bucket information. Looks like I'm getting some errors. It says the bucket is not found. That tells me that even though I created the bucket, it doesn't sound like you set up the app to know what bucket and maybe even it doesn't even have the keys that it needs to get this to work. So I'm just going to give that prompt, then I'm going to send in the errors. So it looks like it hard coded the bucket name directly into the code itself. Probably should have been in the environment variable. So let's retest this really quick. All right, so now it uploaded. Now we have the file there. Perfect. Let's refresh. So now we know the size, the type. It says we can download it. Yep, download, and then we can delete. Cool, let's go ahead and try uploading a couple more. And I also just want to see the file uploads on the back end, upload files. So now if we jump over to Supabase, we go to our buckets, we can see those 2 files here. Perfect. Wouldn't you recommend keeping the bucket name directly in the environment variable versus hard coding it into the code itself? So again, the thing that I noticed was that in the code, we had the bucket name in the code. So if we ever changed the bucket name, then the code would break. When in reality, I believe that the bucket name should be in this configurable area here. You're absolutely right. That's a much better practice. Let me fix that by adding the bucket name to the environment variables. So there we go. And now it's just going to update the code as well. And again, this is just so that if I ever change the name of the bucket that we created here inside the Supabase UI, that if I ever changed it or moved it to something else, it wouldn't break the app and I can change it without having to update the code itself. So now it should be using environment variables. So it sees the 2 previous files. So we know that's still working. And we should be able to upload some new files. And there we go. And we can see them on the back end as well. Now, if you're interested in building out your own SaaS with a bunch of other startup entrepreneurs, make sure to jump into my new Vibe and Coders community. Inside the classroom, there is a course on how to launch your own SaaS. Not only can you use this framework that we have to launch your own SaaS in a few minutes with email authentication, Google Auth, and Stripe integration, but I also show you how I built that entire SaaS framework, which is really vital to understanding how to vibe code. I literally build out the framework step by step. And then on the calendar, we've got calls every Wednesday for support and networking with the group on Fridays. I'd love to see you inside the community. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one.